All right, what's up, everyone? We're here for Ask LBD episode 4 with me and my co-host Ronald Wayne.
What's up, guys?
How's everyone doing? So I made a post and then I did a live. So in the future, I'll start by which camera are they on? Both of them?
This one right
This
here.
one. In the future, I'll start off. So if you have any questions and want your question to be asked or answered, and asked and answered on the podcast, email me. I'll put my email in the show notes, lbdtraining@lucasduncan.com, and put Ask LBD in the subject line for a chance for your question to be answered. We got a couple good ones, or a lot of good ones. So once again, it's a 30-minute question and answer style, 25 to 30-minute question and answer style podcast, and I'm looking for fitness-related questions as specific as you want to get it. So without further ado, my boy Ron, go ahead.
Let's get it started. All right, so this first question is anonymous, and they ask, is it true genetics can make it difficult to build defined abs?
True, yeah. So abs and calves are super genetic. So what that means is like when not everyone is going to have. I know for me personally, like I don't have the perfect when I'm ripped. I don't have the perfect six packs. I got like unaligned abs, like 3 on one side, 2 on another. But anybody can get super shredded and get their abs to pop. You just have to. You have to lose the body fat. But abs are very genetic as in regards to how they look and how they appear. So what was this question? Genetics to build abs?
Is it true that genetics make it difficult to build defined abs?
I would say yes. Short answer, yes, and long answer, yes. But anybody can lose the body fat to reveal the abs, but the way they appear is going to differ from person to person. For example, when I first started working out, I would do weighted ab exercises. So like heavy, the crunch machine.
My favorite, yeah.
Yeah, the crunch machine with the pin-loaded crunch machine.
Yeah.
I would do that with like a lot of weight. So I developed, a larger abdominal wall and larger ab muscles. Because, abs are like any other muscle. They grow, through resistance training. So when I first started working out, I did a lot of weighted ab stuff, and that made my abs bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So for me personally, I can be at a heavier body fat, and my abs will still show because the muscle is large. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of a little confusing, but so a lot of people, will ask too if they should do what ab exercises. The biggest thing is lose the body fat. So diet and cardio, not necessarily a specific exercise. So I wouldn't even worry about your genetic limitations to get abs. Just diet, cardio, and lose the body fat, and you'll have abs. And however they look, they're gonna look.
Right. For sure.
Good question though.
All right, next question comes from Kathy Schawwacker. I'm sorry if I...
Schawwacker.
Yeah, Schawwacker.
I think.
Might have got it right. She says, I really enjoyed this. You alluded to the fact that one should not do their aerobic portion before their weight power training portion of their workout. Is that what you meant? If so, what's the reason? Thanks in advance.
Well, first, before I answer the question, so if you want your question anonymous, like the first question, say anonymous. If you don't specify that you want your question anonymous, then we're going to say exactly, your name and your IG handle if you asked it from Instagram. But the question is, why do I not recommend doing cardio before the workout? Man, I could do the whole episode on this one. So when do you personally do cardio?
Always after.
What, or in the morning though? I see.
Oh, you mean just in general? When do I do cardio? Yeah, I do cardio in the morning. I'll do fasted.
Yeah, you do fasted.
But that's separate. That's its own element. And then if I do weight training, then I do cardio after the weight training.
Yeah, it's all like separate from the weight training.
Right.
And you find that that's the best.
Yeah, it works for me. Absolutely.
You like fasted the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like fasted the best too. So I always say with my clients, do your cardio fasted first thing in the morning or immediately post-workout. And the reasoning behind that is, I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be like a super, if you follow me, I keep my stuff very basic and simple. So I don't know. I'm not really going to explain the actual, the reason, the way that everyone can understand it is if you do cardio before your weight training session. Well, there's 2 reasons that I can, that are the pop off the top of my head. The first reason is you're going to, deplete yourself, your energy before the weights, and the weight is always going to be the most important thing because you want to build the muscle, and the more muscle you have, the better your metabolism is going to be. You'll be able to lose more body fat and obviously build muscle and build a physique. So you want all your energy all your focus to be on the weight training session. But the real like practical reason is, so if you do the cardio before your workout, you're just going to burn off the food you ate during the day, if that makes sense. So when you do cardio, you want your glycogen storages to be depleted. Glycogen meaning carbs in your muscles. So your muscles are made of water and carbohydrate. That's like what fills them up. And you want them to be depleted when you do cardio, or else when you do the cardio, it's just going to take from those storages and not stored body fat. So it's going to burn the carb, but not the fat. Now this applies if you're, if your goal is to lose body fat. If your goal is to like be better at performance or like be a football player, it's okay if your body burns or uses the carbs for the body fat or for cardio. But if your goal, because you're not worried about how you look, but if your goal is to look good, just have a better physique, which most of the people who hire me are. Mm-hmm. So I do help some athletes and some like performance-based people, but most of them just want to look good, just want to look better. So you want to do your cardio when your glycogen storages are depleted, so your body's going to tap into your body fat to burn the cardio, as opposed to like food you just ate. So if you have like a meal and then do 30 minutes cardio, then do workout, or then do weight training, when you do cardio, you're just going to burn the food you ate, not your stored body fat. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
And another reason, now I always say people say, what do I warm up? I mean, if you want to do like 10 to 15 minutes on like a bike or treadmill before you weight train, that's not really cardio. That's okay. But I'm talking like you shouldn't do more than 15 minutes of cardiovascular activity before you weight train if your goal is to build muscle and lose body fat. Like Ron said, he likes to do fasted, and I like to do fasted too. And I'm sure you would agree with this too. I like to do fasted. And all fasted means is first thing in the morning. You don't, you just wake up and do your cardio. Now, what do you do before fasted? Like you drink water?
Yeah, I make sure I'm hydrated. I drink water.
Yeah.
Get some aminos, but definitely I don't eat anything because, like you said, I want to make sure I'm actually targeting that stored body fat.
Exactly, 100%. And I was just say too, fasted, you wake up, do cardio, like you just get your day started off. I know for you're super busy. So if you get up early and do the cardio, like, dude, you're gonna, you're gonna build momentum to just have a kick-ass day.
Yeah.
I know when I don't do my fasted, like I'm not as in a good of a mood and I don't have as good a day because you don't get the start off the day. So I rambled a little bit, but that's what this podcast is for. Good question, Kathy Shawwacker.
Awesome. All right, we ready for the next next question? Instagram handle, Makeup by Vans.
It's a long question. Here we go.
So as you know, I'm 5 feet tall. I was weighing 141 as of last Friday. I got to that weight after water loading for my photo shoot, and they shared an image below. My goal after starting your program is to lose 10 or more pounds and to be 130 pounds. I've dreamed about this number forever. Like I mentioned in my DM, I'm tripping out with the number on my scale this morning. So my questions are, is it common to gain water weight back easily after water loading?
Ooh-wee.
And that would be the first question. You want to start with that one?
Read the whole thing first, and
okay.
then go back to the questions. Yeah.
Could it be that because my macros were so low prior to the shoot that now I've started eating so much with your program that I'm gaining weight instead? Now I'm weighing 145, 4 pounds since Friday. Let me know what you think. Even if I don't get back to hear from the podcast, reply here as well. I just don't want to lose hope.
Well, first with that last part, so we record these podcasts usually like 2 or 3 weeks after, like this particular person, this question that was asked to me like 3 weeks ago. So I apologize for the late response. I upload these podcasts a few weeks after they're shot because we have a couple waiting to be posted and all that stuff. So it's not just instant. So I do apologize for that. But another thing I would say is, or I'll ask you, Ron, how often do you weigh yourself on the scale? When you're serious about
it's not healthy, but I weigh myself like two times a week.
Okay, 2 times.
Yeah, 2 times a week.
Okay. So I haven't weighed myself in like 5 or 6 weeks. I just kind of like go by. Now I'm not saying don't weigh yourself, But I will say, if you're weighing yourself every day and stuff, it's definitely going to play mind tricks on you. So my first thing would be weigh yourself once a week, because unless you're like super advanced and you're not going to let it mentally bother you, because your weight. I mean, the answer to your question is yes, you will gain water weight after you diet long and then add some food back in. So absolutely. And she said she gained 4 pounds in how long?
Let's see, 4 pounds since last Friday.
So she was dieting for a photo shoot, and then she gained 4 pounds in like what? Yeah, that's very normal. It's super normal, because think about it. You depleted your body and you lost a bunch of body fat, including water, and we're eating less calories and taking in less sodium, and then you add some more food back in. Your body's going to naturally rebound. But it's not body fat. It's just like you said, water weight. And a lot of people they'll mistake water weight and for body fat. They'll get them confused. So it's okay if unless you're doing like she was doing a photo shoot or a physique competition, like you don't need to worry about how much water you're holding. So I would say that's completely normal. Just get back or get on the set plan, the meal plan, and you're going to be fine. I'll tell a funny story with talking about rebounds. When I was, young and dumb and competing in bodybuilding, I think I was 21. I wasn't young and dumb because I was competing. I was young and dumb because of what I ate after the show.
Right.
So I dieted. I got down to like 210 pounds. It was a 2010 MPC Excalibur, if anybody wants to Google it. I got down to 210, I think. And then after the show, like I literally ate like whatever. So I ate for a whole week.
Right.
And like, I was drinking like apple juice, cranberry juice, soda, and having like Wendy's and stuff. Dude, I gained like 60 pounds in 10 days. It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So your 4 pounds is actually pretty.
Yeah, compared to that story, yeah.
So the biggest thing is you want to get back on a controlled meal plan and eating structure after you go through like a long dieting period, or she did a photo shoot. So yeah, the answer to the question is yes, that's completely normal. It's okay. Your weight will fluctuate too from day to day. That's why I say only weigh yourself once a week, just so it doesn't play mind games with you, because you might weigh, I may weigh 250 this morning, but tomorrow morning 248, and the next morning 252. Like that's just water weight. It's as long as your overall and the water weight depends on stress, sleep, how much you drank that day, obviously, tons of stuff. So don't let it freak you out, as long as your overall weight keeps going down. Good question though.
All right, we're ready for the next question. Comes from _Oscar_. So I'm 189 pounds. I've been training hard with a good form for about a month without any results. I'm trying for 2 hours chest and triceps one day and back and biceps the next. I only sleep 6 hours. I'm training for a long time, messing up my gains or what it can be.
What's this question? So why is it messing up? So another thing too is like the questions everyone asks. We're reading them. I'm literally copy and paste the question. So if it's like broken English or whatever,
right, that's just what it is.
We're not.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients are international, so we're literally just reading exactly what they write. So maybe I should try to edit the question, but we're just reading what they write. So his question is, what he's been training a month.
He's been training for about a month without any results. He has good form. He's training.
I see 2 hours. He's
2 hours. Training chest for 2 hours.
Bro,
and he's sleeping 6 hours.
Well, a couple of things here. If you haven't trained a month, I mean, give it way more time. I mean, I turned 30 in September, so like in 2 months, and I've been started working out when I was like 16. How long have you been working out?
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah. So it takes. I mean, a month. Come on, bro. I mean, it doesn't take longer than a month, but you're doing a few things wrong. Probably one is you're sounds like you're training too long. 2 hours. We had this question on the last podcast. Like we don't, when me and Ron we train, we're training partners, and we go for like 60 minutes. I make a point to not go like much longer than 60, 70 minutes weight training, not cardio too, but weight training. So if you're training 2 hours, you're probably training too long. And some really quick beginner advice is if your goal is to gain muscle and get bigger, for each body part, just choose 4 of your favorite exercises for the body part, and that's it. So for chest, choose 4. There's like 20, 30, 40 different exercises for every body part. Mm-hmm. So that's what I tell people, or that's what I like to do for me personally. Like, just pick 4 that day, and then do 3 to 4 sets each exercise, and then leave the gym. It shouldn't take you more than an hour. So I would say you spend too much time in the gym. And then he didn't mention anything about diet.
He didn't. Yeah, we don't know what he's eating. He's getting enough sleep though. So I think 6 hours.
6 hours enough?
Yeah, he said yeah.
Yeah. I know Ron sleeps like 3 hours. Yeah, 6 hours is plenty. Some people say like, oh, you need to sleep 8 to 10 hours. Dude, that's like you gotta sleep away your life. I mean, how long do you really need to sleep for? 6 hours is plenty.
Yeah.
So I would say cut your time back in the gym. He didn't say what you're eating, but just make sure you're eating high protein and high carb too if you're trying to get bigger. And yeah, just give it time.
All right. So the next question, we talked about in the last answer. Actually, it comes from.
I'm looking at these questions too.
_Tad_man. How long have you been lifting?
Oh, I like your question, Tad. The Tad.
The Tad man.
Man, you must not like followers. _Tad, _man. Make your name simple if you like followers. I started lifting when I was 15 and a half, I think. I first lifted my first weight when I was like 14 at junior high for football. Mm-hmm. And then my whole story is, I lifted to get bigger for football. But then when I was 15 or 16, I was dating my first girlfriend, and we dated for like 10 months. And then we broke up, and then, I was this typical dude who got dumped by his first girlfriend and pissed off, and I wanted to like get back at her and be like, oh, I'm gonna be this jacked dude. I don't know what I thought, but I wanted to let it go of some frustration and aggression. So that's when I hit the gym. I joined Gold's in downtown Columbia, Missouri, which was like a hardcore gym at the time. It's no longer there. And then I gained like 30 pounds in the first month of working out, and then I got hooked. So I initially started to get bigger for high school football, and then because the girl dumped me and I wanted to get back at her. But then obviously when I saw quick results, it became like I became obsessed, and that's when I got into bodybuilding. So for me, 15 years. What about you? You said 10 earlier.
Yeah, 10. I think it's more than that, but I just said 10.
So why did you even get into working out though? Like for me,
it was my buddy. I would go to his house. We were always playing video games.
How old?
I was like
20s.
I was like 18, 19.
Oh,
but we would go hang out at the clubs, and then he would take off his shirt, and all the girls would flock to him. So
here in Miami.
This was in the Fort Lauderdale area.
Oh,
so that's what triggered it for me. Like I'm like, well, I want some of this attention too. So, I started working out, and then we would play video games. And every time he scored a touchdown, because we would play Madden all the time.
Yeah.
So then the person who got scored, I'm gonna have to do push-ups.
What?
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that. So was this guy working? Was your buddy working out in a gym or just good genetics?
He had really good genetics, but he
naturally ripped.
He had good genetics, but he knew how to eat well as well too.
Okay.
So like the whole nine. But the reason why I started was the first initial start was because, females, women.
Yeah, that's why I
initially. Like that's what it is.
And now that's why we both still work. No, no, for sure. So for me, 15 years, and for Ron, a little over 10 years. But yeah, as you can see, it takes it takes a long time to really build a substantial physique, but just stay committed and keep at it. I like that question though. Very simple question. Thank you.
All right, perfect. The next question comes from Tyler Freed.
Tyler Freed, what's up, bro?
Can you explain why it's better to increase weights after every set as opposed to starting heavy and decreasing?
I think we got this question last time too. Or this is kind of confusing too. So he's saying, let's say you're doing a bench press. He's saying, why not start at the heaviest weight? Okay, so there's a couple. That's what he's asking.
Yes, yeah.
Well, the main reason is you want to make sure everything's warm, and blood is in your joints. So I would say the main reason is to prevent injury. Okay, so I've never been the type of dude to just go in the gym, put 315 in the bar, and bench it. It's always a little. You start lighter, then work your way up. But it's called the Joe Weider lifting principle. So as you do your next set, you increase weight and lower the reps. So as you lower the reps, you're going to lift heavier weight, if that makes sense. You know, it's I believe it's weirder principles, but it's progressive overload basically. So you don't want to start at the heaviest. Now you can, but that's more high intensity training, which I have never done. I mean, this is probably going to confuse a lot of people watching. But the high intensity training, I don't know if you've done it. It's when you do a couple warm up sets, then one all out set. So you only do like 3 or 4 total sets for the body part.
Right.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
But the reason I don't like that is just because there's not enough volume to build like, you know, a big round physique. I know Dorian Yates and all these other guys have done it, but I'm not a fan, you know, of it for most people. I think you should do higher volume, start lighter, and then increase weight each set. I mean, that's just how I was always taught. You know, same. You pretty much the same. Like,
Yeah,
that's
progressive
how
sets. Oh, I mean, progressive sets. Yeah, got to warm up. I mean, there was a phase where, and we talked about it last podcast, where I would it was an ego lift. Like, I just wanted to, I would start off with dumbbell rows, 120, because I saw this other guy doing it. But
see, I've never done that.
You know, where did he get his information from?
When you did the 120,
I would go down. It was
so
weird.
the next couple sets,
yeah,
so
I would go down.
Yeah.
But
But you didn't have any rhyme or reason.
I didn't have no reason behind it. But now it's always progressive, because even when I was doing that, it wasn't right. It was. I thought it was cool.
Get hurt, bro.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I would say to prevent injury, and then it's just progressive overload. So as you do as you do the sets, you increase weight and lower the reps. When I say lower the reps, I'm talking like 15, 12, 10. You're not lowering it a lot, but that's just always how I've trained. And once again, I also do that to kind of like the first couple sets of each exercise, you kind of feel the movement and kind of get it down. And I mean, I've been lifting 15 years, but still, like that particular day I'm working out, I want to, see that my nervous system and my mind-muscle connection's working fine, and I don't want to start with a heavier weight to do that. So that's kind of, my reasoning behind it. And then, I'm more of a volume trainer too. I think we both are.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to start with the heaviest set, like I wouldn't be able to do 4 sets for that exercise. I would just do 1. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
So I like to get like, get more blood into the muscle and really have more like a volume type workout.
All right, so we got the last question here, and it comes from.
And then I got one for my Instagram too.
Oh, okay, so it's not the last one.
We got 2 more questions.
2 more questions. Drinkwater_Maine. All right. Any recommendations for a soccer athlete trying to get bigger arms, but
Nobody
also
wants followers. I say that because their names are confusing. How you get followers?
Any recommendations for a soccer athlete trying to get bigger arms, but also trying to gain speed and agility?
Also, like performance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a like misconception too. Even if you're trying to gain speed and agility, you should still weight train with heavy weights, and I would do like 8 to 15 reps even for this too. The main thing is eating.
Mm-hmm.
Because eating is what's going to get you the size. So if you don't want, huge legs, and you want agility for what they say, soccer. So they're probably not trying to get their legs really huge.
Right.
I would just do higher reps on legs, and then do like calisthenic work, and then your eating is the biggest thing though. You want to keep your eating in check, because if you do high reps, like I said, for legs, and then eat like a bodybuilder and eat 2 grams of protein per body and eat all this food, that's when you're going to not get what you want. You're not going to stay quick. When I played football, I played high school football. I started as a running back, and then I went to fullback, and then I went to center because I got too big. Like each year I gained weight. So if you don't want to be a big bulky dude or girl if you're playing a sport like football at a speed position, or soccer especially. But the biggest thing that comes down to that is not the weight training, it's the food. So I would say watch your food intake is the biggest thing. But always train hard, always train intense. I got one more question here. I screenshotted. I want to get the name. The name is, he just sent me this before I got here, Alfig_89. His question was, I'm currently in the 8-week plan and in the process of gaining 155 pounds. Okay, so in the process of gaining, he's 155 pounds, currently weighing 148 to 149. I wanted to know how to maintain the weight at 155 but get my body ripped, if that makes any sense. So so the question is, he wants to get to 155. Excuse me. but his current weight is 148, and his goal is to be ripped at 155. Good question. This is another thing a lot of people get confused at. So if you're 148, and I'd have to see what body fat he's at, but if you're 148 right now and want to be 155 ripped, unless you're 148 super lean right now, you're going to have to bulk up. Like you just bulked up, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you're cutting down.
Right. Yeah.
So, the idea of bulking up and cutting down is if you want to be 155 ripped, you got to add the muscle and then lose the body fat to get there. So if you're 148 and let's just assume you're 15% body fat or like a normal body fat and want to be 155 ripped, you're going to have to bulk up to like 170, 175.
Mm-hmm.
So if your overall goal is to be, if you're like your end goal is to be 155 ripped, I would focus on gaining more muscle mass right now. And I'd have to, I see your Instagram name, but I'd have to look at your emails and look at your pictures to see exactly what you look like. But that's what I would say. I would say bulk up first and then cut your body fat down. I mean, if you're 148, you're probably not holding a bunch of fat to begin with. So it'd be okay to bulk up and add some food into your diet, and then you would cut down to that body weight of 155. So that's how
unless he's, not to cut you off, 3 feet tall, then he's probably
or if he's 148 and ripped right now,
right.
And then just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll gradually add that body weight. But for most people, like if you want to be, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be, guys like 200 pounds ripped. Like, bro, to be 200 pounds ripped, that's freaking huge. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand like how big some of these guys are. Like, if you're 200 pounds, 8% body fat,
you look amazing.
And he probably, you look amazing.
Yeah.
And you probably bulked up like 225, 230 to add the muscle, because it's very hard to add muscle and lose body fat at the same time. It's not impossible if you're like a newbie, or you got the newbie gains, or if you do it slowly and over time. But yeah, so to answer your question, bulk up, add the muscle, and then you're going to cut down and be 155 ripped, and everything's going to be okay. So that's what my advice would be. So that's all the questions? How far we go? 25 minutes?
30.
That was 30? Yeah. Oh shit. Okay, cool. All right, so in the future, or thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, email me, lbdtraining@lucasduncan.com. Put Ask LBD in the subject line for Lucas Duncan and my co-host,
Ronald Wayne.
What's your Instagram name?
Ronald Wayne _
Ronald Wayne. I thought it's main. That's your business one.
That's the business, yeah.
We each have like 500 Instagrams together.
Yeah.
So follow him, follow me, and thanks for listening.
Peace.